Hello, students, vet science students. Thank you so much for joining me for this brief little lecture on animal welfare. Of course, this is optional. You can just review the slides that I posted, but I figured it would be nice just to chat a little bit and maybe hear my voice if you want that, or if you're more of an auditory learner. So I'm going to deliver this material here for you if you would like to listen up. I'm going to go pretty quick though, so feel free to pause and discuss with maybe your brothers or sisters or parents on some of the more controversial topics if you want to extend the conversation a little bit more. You can always also just email me or call my school phone, and I'd be happy to discuss any of the material with you to help you process it. So although it says Egg Pizza in You, which is a middle school class, I kind of stole some of my PowerPoint slides because I think they fit pretty well here. So bear with me, okay? So I'm going to look at those learning targets. And before we get started, you know that you're going to be getting into a poultry animal welfare case study. So I wanted to share some basic information about poultry. So on average, an egg is laid once every 27 hours, okay? Not all eggs though, however, are fertilized, okay? So we don't eat like the fertilized eggs obviously at the store, and eggs that are fertilized result in a chick, and it takes 21 days of proper conditions for that chick to actually go out and hatch. Okay, some basic terms: a young chicken is a chick, an immature male is a cockerel, an immature female is a pullet, a mature male is a rooster, a mature female is a hen, and a castrated male is called a capon or capone. Okay. You can pause here and take a look, but this is how the chick embryo is developed over the course of the 20 to 21 days. Okay, so you can kind of see how that naturally progresses throughout that process. So pretty neat. You can pause there and take a look. Nice little infographic. It shows the efficiency that our farmers are having in poultry production. Okay, so one of the facts that I would like to show you or highlight on here is that 4.7 pounds of feed in 1925 produced simply 1 pound of broiler. Today, only 1.89 pounds of feed to produce 1 pound of broiler. That's a huge, huge statistic that just shows the efficiency that farmers are having today. Okay, and this was obviously 2014, so maybe it's even more efficient now. And also our mortality rate, 18% in 1925. Because of proper veterinary care, we've now reduced that to 3.9%. So whenever you hear misconceptions about farmers and what they do for our animals, remind them that farmers are taking very good care, and we are doing everything we can to reduce mortality rates and make sure that they have proper environments. Okay, so normally in class what we would do here is we would do a little share out activity. So I'm just going to kind of breeze through this and pause as I go. So step one, I want you to pause the video and think of as many different animal welfare factors as you can. So I'll give you one, for example, having proper water. Okay, so think of as many as you possibly can. Okay, maybe encourage a sibling or someone else to do the same in your house if they're around. Step two, work in small groups or collaborate with somebody. Either pick up the phone or you can contact me as well to create a group list of as many unduplicated factors. And normally we would then go to step three and narrow down to our top 5. Okay. So if you're just by yourself, maybe just write down and pause the video the 5 things, or narrow down your list from step 1 to 5 specific factors. Okay. And then we would generate a class list. Okay. This is the good stuff right here. Okay, in 1998, the council directive created policies to protect animals kept for farming purposes, basically giving rules for how we can produce animals for food, wool, skin, or fur. And those protects the rights of the animals. Okay, these rules are based on European Convention for Protection of Animals kept for farming purposes. Okay, and these reflect the 5 freedoms of animal welfare. And if you follow my instructions and narrow down to 5 basic elements or factors of welfare, you will find that probably the majority of them fit within the framework of the 5 freedoms, which is kind of why I like to start with that exercise. So the 5 freedoms are freedom from hunger and thirst, freedom from discomfort, freedom from injury, pain, and disease, freedom to express normal behaviors, and freedom from fear and distress. So a question for you to reflect on your own or with a family member: how do these freedoms compare and contrast from your individual list? I'm thinking you will probably find that a lot of them match up pretty well with the 5 freedoms. Okay, so if you have something like housing as one of your 5 factors, that could fall under a lot of these things. Okay, freedom from discomfort. Okay, some animals don't like to go outside in the winter. That's just the way it works. Okay, so housing could fit under freedom from discomfort, or it could also fit under freedom to express normal behavior, freedom from pain, injury, and disease. They're pretty vague. Okay, so a lot of the things that you generated in that list will fall into here, which is the super cool thing about this activity. Okay, some people think that the 5 freedoms are just people who want to create rules just to have rules and schmools kind of thing. Well, in reality, the 5 freedoms are based off scientific principles, okay? And we could go on and on and on about all of those, but we're not going to. It's a nice framework for farmers, veterinarians, people who are working directly with animals to consider. It's not meant to be like some quote unquote damper rule big deal thing. It's just 5 guiding principles to make sure that we are creating good, healthy environments for both humans and for the animals that we care for. Okay, so don't think that I'm going all anti-animal agriculture here, because I'm certainly not. It's just these are some basic things that we want to keep in mind. So this nice little graphic summarizes that. Okay. So think to yourself, what are some things, and now that we know the 5 freedoms, what are some things that we need to provide to make sure that we live up to those 5 freedoms? Okay. So obviously freedom from hunger and thirst. Obviously we got to provide a good feed source and healthy, clean, cold water supply every day. I will mention this several times in class. I probably already have. Water is the most important yet highly overlooked nutrient for animals. A good supply of water not only keeps the animal hydrated and comfortable, it also helps lubricate the digestive system and the organs in the animal to make sure that there's good internal production, kind of like when you go to work out, or you go for a run, or you go after baseball or softball, football, whatever you got, practice. Okay, you are thirsty. The parts inside of you are just drying up. So by drinking water, you are replenishing your body. So animals need the same thing. Okay. According to the American Veterinary Medical Association, good welfare requires disease prevention and veterinary treatment, appropriate shelter, management, nutrition, humane handling, and humane slaughter. Okay, so at the end of the day, those are the key things that we need to provide to make sure there's good welfare. And that's very consistent with the 5 freedoms, okay? I'm going to have you pause this right now and take a read, okay? So click pause. Okay. Think to yourself, now that you've read it, what does this mean? And is this accurate? Okay. I'm going to let you reflect on that, and maybe this would be a nice time if you wanted to chat with me about it. You can send me an email or we could talk about it. Obviously, I don't want to sway opinions or share my personal take on it, but it's just an eye-opening reference for you to think about, okay, what does the public know about animal production, and how can we better inform them about where their food comes from? Okay. You can watch this video if you want. It's actually a pretty nice video put out by the Minnesota Pork. Feel free to check it out. It's a great video. Highly recommend. Okay. We already talked about this. Okay. Hopefully this gives you a nice sense of the 5 freedoms of animal welfare. I hope that this was very informative and that you are able to go ahead with this lab activity and understand what we're looking for. Basically, what you're going to do, if you've taken a look at the assignment, is you are going to visit 4 different farms, excuse me. There was an aviary system, free run, conventional, I think free range is the 4th one. And you'll visit all 4 of those, click on the links, and find evidence of the 5 freedoms on those farms. And you get to go ahead and click on the different links and the different graphics on those farm visits, and then make a decision about which farm you would want to work for. So go ahead, now that you have a background about animal welfare, read the assignment description, go in to those websites, have fun. It's going to be a great time. So of course, let me know if you have questions or concerns about the technology or the content, and I'm more than happy to help out. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day, folks.